Hello Suomy lover, kembali lagi bersama saya Matteo Guerinoni dan kali ini saya akan mewawancara seorang legenda balap motor dunia. Seorang yang telah membalap di dunia ajang balap motor bergengsi dan juara dunia 3 kali World Superbike serta tentunya Suomy Rider. Ladies and gentlemen, Troy Bayliss, the legend. Hi Troy. How are
Hi,
you?
Matteo. Thanks for having me, mate. It's great to see you.
I am very honored to be here. To interview such a legend because it is. I was so happy. I interview many MotoGP riders,
Yes.
but I was never so excited. No, I'm not joking. Just because I love Superbike, I always watch Superbike. Then I know your story very well, and I know what you did with your finger to race. It's for me, you are a hero. You're amazing, mate.
Well, maybe you've been around a while, so you
Exactly.
appreciate the old school. But yeah, mate, it's lovely to be here in Jakarta and to be here and be involved with Suomy with the new helmet range. It's so nice.
Absolutely, and congratulations, by the way, on being a Suomy rider again. And can you tell us how you first become a Suomy rider?
Well, basically, yes. All of my career really with the factory Ducati squad. It all started back in 2000 with Suomy, and it was when I signed the deal with the factory to ride in the AMA Superbike Championship. And that's basically it, mate. We started in 2000 and found myself doing my whole career with Suomy, and to be back now with the brand and to see the new helmets, basically like retro, like we see some of my favorite colors that I wore in my time, and now they're on the new style helmets, and they look lovely. They look great.
Absolutely extraordinary. It's beautiful indeed, mate. I have to admit that. And in 2001, you raced as part of the Ducati World Superbike Championship. And how difficult it was that year for you? Because you were quite new, right, in the Superbike World Championship, not in the racing eventually. How difficult it was to win that title back in 2001?
Yeah. Okay. So 2001 was my first full season in the World Superbike Championship. But like I say, in 2000 it started off in the AMA Championship, and which was all going quite well for me. But then we all know the story.
Yes,
Carl Fogarty had his accident in Phillip Island, and so then midway through the season I came in. So basically, I got to learn quite a few of the tracks that half of the year. So coming into 2001, I still had some new tracks to learn, but I knew a lot of them. So that was a big help for me. Very unlucky for Carl, but the start of my career. And we all remember back with DePilio, God rest his soul, lovely man, but he was there. Gives me goosebumps thinking about it. He was there when I did the big overtake in Monza, and so many people remember this, and it nearly made me part of the factory straight away.
5 bikes, right?
Something like that.
Yes.
Yeah. Maybe I missed the break. I don't know.
5 bikes in at the end of the straight, right? It was before the chicane, right?
Yeah,
I
beautiful. Loved riding Monza. But yes, that was the start of my career really with the factory team. That's how that all kicked off.
You finished 4th that race, right?
4th there,
Yes,
and
yes,
it was
I
only a
remember.
few races later, or 2 races later, where I had my first win in Hockenheim.
That's the Hockenheim one. Yeah, I remember.
But 2001, yes, we had high expectations because I'd learnt the tires on the bike, Michelin at the time, and started to get comfortable with the factory team and how everything worked. And coming into 2001, we sort of already knew that I was going to be quite strong, and but to win in 2001, it was like, wow, that happened fast.
It was amazing, as a rookie basically, because you were a rookie, because the season before you came in just because of Carl Fogarty, right? And he got some injury, and then you have to do some races, but the real rookie time was in 2000.
Yeah, honestly, it was big shoes to fill.
Yeah.
Because Carl was such a legend and won all of these championships and so many races. And when I got the call up in 2000, it was I don't know how to explain it, but I was like so excited, but also I knew that this was the time that I have to shine, because if I couldn't do it on that bike that's been winning the races, It was never going to happen.
I'm very sure that Paolo Ciabatti was very happy to
Well, like honestly,
to have you.
Yeah, it's like I say, in 2000 it started, and Paolo came to the test in Daytona, like when the whole thing started with the factory team, and he's been a great friend of mine along the way. Also, I say friend, but also one of my big bosses.
Exactly.
And still we're very close, and still, of course, we see now how heavily involved he still is.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
yes. They did a great job, by the way. Yeah,
Unbelievable. Yes.
What were the developments that you bring together with Lori Capirossi back in 2003? We are talking about MotoGP,
Yes.
right? I remember that, and I remember that you were able to be on the podium 3 times that year, which was amazing. What kind of job did you do together with Loris to bring the right developments to the bike?
Yeah. Well, of course, this was back in 2003. So, of course, this was big news for Ducati coming into the MotoGP Championship. And we knew about this, of course, in like early 2002 myself. And I was going head-to-head with Colin Edwards this year.
Absolutely.
And then already we was doing a bit of testing on the bike in 2002. And honestly, I think I was a little bit distracted along some of the way because, of course, I was excited to be part of this new project with Loris. But yeah, anyway, it was a big job, such a big job, and I was so excited to be part of it. And the bikes were, it's a little bit like now, we look at the MotoGP bikes and they're so heavily sophisticated and technical. Back then, that's how it felt to us. But as time goes on, you know, the world doesn't stop spinning. Things just keep improving and getting faster and faster. But Loris and myself, Loris was a great teammate and a great friend of mine. He managed to have a win in the first year on the Desmos edition.
Yes, I remember that.
And I had some podiums. So a great experience for me, them couple of years with the whole crew. And I think it made me a better and stronger rider along the way. And
was it difficult, that bike, the first Ducati bike?
Of course, we always know Ducati's always had a strong engine.
Exactly.
It was very fast, but the bike was a beautiful bike, very fast, but also you can't escape this when you have a bike with so much power. And I'm sure the bikes now will still have heat problems. And I mean, not just so much the bike to keep cool, but also to ride the bike.
Exactly.
I remember back then we used to suffer a lot with blisters on our hands and on our thighs. And the bikes were incredibly hot. But, you know, of course, so much fun to ride. And back then it was all the start of the new age of traction control and fly-by-wire. And, you know, that was quite technical back then. But you look now of what the guys have and
it's unbelievable. Right?
It's gone through the roof.
At the time you really need a rider.
Yeah. And it just keeps on evolving over the years.
Okay, so that's you answer in some way this question that is coming now, the significant difference between the old 2003 model and the GP23, you know, I mean, maybe you can explain a bit to our friends at home, you know.
Yeah, well, back then the bikes, we thought like it was another level, and of course it was. But now we look at the bikes it's just gone so much further ahead. Like we had engine braking back then and stuff like that, but now we've got like wheelie control, like proper launch control, the ride height devices, all of the wings, the downforce. It's something now that honestly, if I think actually for last week, for when Bautista did his wildcard ride, I don't think he got to show his true potential. And we know that he did have a bit of an injury as well.
Yes.
But especially the bikes now with the way they are, you need to be on these bikes week in and week out and be so used to how they work and actually understand how the downforce works.
Absolutely.
And actually you have to believe in that. It's a little, I'm not saying it's like driving a car, but I've driven some race cars and you can get going quite good and quite fast, but to find the last bit and have the trust in what they can actually do, that comes from just time.
Absolutely.
Replicating,
also,
understanding.
Also the limit of the tires, right? It's very difficult to know where it is because all of a sudden you are low side.
It's there's a lot of talk, of course, like some people are liking all these new systems and whatever, but when you think about it, like it's like the rest of the world. The world's keeping on going and keeping on. Everything's becoming newer and faster and better, and the lap times are becoming faster. And who knows what they'll do in the future? They might bring some limits on this sort of stuff. I'm not really into that, but
Yes.
I have already heard of some
I heard
things.
also, yes. But I hope it happens because they need to step back a little bit. You know?
I honestly,
Yes, I
I
believe
don't want to say as a rider they're getting too fast.
Yeah.
Because when you're riding the bikes, you always want such a fast bike. But honestly, I think it's coming a little bit over the top.
Over the top, yes. So
Yeah.
they almost can reach the 400 kilometer per hour.
Yeah.
I think it's a bit crazy.
And honestly, like so many tracks, like you might be in the straight doing 350 or 360.
60, right.
But I mean, they're going from 360 sometimes to a first gear corner every lap.
Yeah, exactly.
And so, of course, the bikes are so highly physical to ride.
Absolutely.
The guys have got to be on their game. They've got to be very fit. And of course, these days, everything's becoming more like social media. You've got to be more professional. There's so many things, so many rounds as well. They've got to be so healthy to do everything right to make this happen.
So during your time, I think it was more fun. Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely
Definitely, yes.
think it was a bit more fun.
Okay. So over the years of racing in the World Superbike and GP, I'm sure you have many memories, you know.
Oh, yeah.
And however, can you tell us your outstanding memory from your very successful time in World Superbike and in the GP?
Yeah.
Which one?
So many. I mean, over your career, you have so many ups and downs, and honestly, a lot of the times you have more downs than ups.
Mm-hmm.
But I was lucky enough to have plenty of ups.
Yes, you
and
did.
like the ups really outweigh the down times. I just love winning. Like championships were great, and I was lucky enough to win like three world championships with
52 races,
with Suomy and also Ducati. So
23 pole.
yeah, I had a good time.
Absolutely.
I really did, and but I can't pinpoint just one. If I had to pinpoint it somewhere along the line, I'd have to say 2006 because of the World Championship, and then with Superbike, and then also the wild card.
Yes.
And then that goes back to technology again. So I came back with Loris. That was the last race of the 1000cc. And Ducati asked me to do this after Sete had his accident in Barcelona. And basically the story was, Troy, would you like to come back and ride the bike? It's the last year of the 990s. You and Laura started this project together. And yeah, I didn't take too much convincing because I was pretty excited to do this again and see how the bike had developed. And when I hopped back on the bike and seen the differences from 2003 and 2004 to 2006, there was massive changes, and I honestly felt quite comfortable on the bike straight away. And it ended up being a bit of a fairy tale, and a one-hit wonder, come in for the weekend and had a win. Yeah, it's something you never forget.
And you did a fantastic race. You were dominating because you were in front all the time. Basically.
Yeah, I had Loris, my teammate, behind me, and he
but
was
he
like,
couldn't catch you.
And I know exactly what Loris is like, and he would have loved to have win, of course, but I'm sure inside he was so happy for me to have this
Absolutely.
win on that day.
I know Loris is a fantastic person.
Yeah.
I know you're a good friend of him. Okay, we can see now here your fantastic and beautiful new Suomy helmet. Can you explain to us what all those graphics and design, means and why you choose it?